as two families, the Crooks and the Howards, we went in the summer of 16 out to Lusaka in Zambia with a charity called Mission Direct, who are a UK-based charity but work with overseas operations to build schools in poor and impoverished areas in overseas countries, so many African countries and parts of Asia. And this time we went, as I said, we went to Lusaka, so right in the capital. It was quite a difference for us. We live in sort of lovely countryside here, and it's a beautiful day, and it's a very beautiful country, but we were right in the middle of the city, in the shanty areas, basically staying in a safe church compound. But even so, you know, you needed to be aware that outside of that compound there were people who were living with basically nothing.
While we were there, it was an amazing experience, but quite a life-changing experience in many ways. I've come home probably having had more of a shock since being back, and taking on board everything that we saw while we were there. As Julia mentioned, we were working with people living in the city in quite desperate conditions, many of them. We were dealing with street children who were addicted to a substance called sticker, aviation fuel derivative, whose parents had all died of AIDS, who they themselves were HIV positive, girls who were had experienced the most appalling abuse, but were being rescued by a various number of accommodation organisations, and being helped through some of their difficulties. But when you come back, the reality of their life, particularly in the backdrop of you know, sleepy Hurstpier Point, is quite shocking and has actually quite deeply moved me and shocked me, and I'm still trying to digest a lot of it.
Yeah, well, whilst we were there, we worked with through Mission Direct. They work with local partners, and some of the stories, as Emma has just outlined there, but some of the stories were really inspirational in terms of how God had used different people, and it made you feel quite humble in actual fact, because they were. I mean, one of the stories was that we went to visit, and we were helping to build a classroom at this school called Crown of Life, and it had been started by Dorothy, whose husband was the local pastor, and she felt called to, the children weren't being educated, and she felt called to set up a school, and it was very basic to start with, but she recounted, she came and told us her story, and basically it had all been done by prayer. She'd sat with a group of ladies, they'd started doing some lunch and some offerings for local families who were desperately in need, and then decided that actually we'll pray about it, what do we need to do? And after 16 hours of prayer, she'd felt called to set up this school. And at first she sort of said, no, I said, no, it can't be me. And they carried on praying, and it was still, everyone agreed, everyone had the same words, the same vision, that a school should be set up, and that's how it started. And I can't remember how many years later it is now, but they now have a number of classrooms, and they have just gone through a process where they can be able to do exams at that school, which will make a huge difference for them. And through Mission Direct, they were building another 2 classrooms for them, which are due to be completed in October this year, which is just amazing, and it was such a blessing to be part of that.
Mm-hmm. Person that was utterly amazing was this organisation called Footprints, yeah. And there was 4 people that were going out on the streets every day just to love and bless the street children. Some of them weren't being paid, the ones that were being paid just barely enough to live on, but they were dedicating their whole lives to loving those street children, and that is quite astounding for us to sit there and observe that, and see people who are willing to give their whole life to blessing other people. We went with Mission Direct, who we were able to take our children with us, which was an utter blessing for them and us. And if you're interested in doing it, we can highly recommend Mission Direct. They take such good care of you. But if you want to know more, please come and talk to us, or you can email us on the links below. Thank you.